I'd like to call to order the select board meeting of Friday, June 24th at 8:30 a.m. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This act, signed by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021, includes an extension of the remote meeting provisions. Voting will be by roll call. I'd like to ask if each of the members present would introduce themselves. Mr. Vice Chair?
Mike Zulus, Vice Chair.
Richard Wells, Secretary, and I'm by phone.
Thank you, Richard. Aaron has joined us.
Yes, Aaron Bradley, member.
Roxanne Musto, member.
Emery?
Anne-Marie Fagan, Town Administrator.
Linda Napoli, Executive Assistant to the Select Board.
Tim?
Tim Zerwinski, Director of Planning and Community Development.
Item number 4 on our agenda, executive session for discussion strategy with respect to potential litigation relative to the final environmental impact assessment of the Federal Aviation Administration RNAV runway 4L at Boston Logan International Airport is being deferred until our meeting of Wednesday, June 29th. That meeting will commence at 7 p.m. So we'll turn at this particular time to item number 2 on the agenda, which is discussion approval, Master Plan Implementation Committee request to match $10,000 in Master Plan Implementation Committee funds for a planning assistance grant to develop a mixed-use overlay district for East Milton from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Mr. Zawinski, may we turn to you, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to all the members. I just want to say that I really appreciate you convening this morning. We had to throw this together a little bit last minute, so I definitely appreciate everyone's flexibility and indulgence here. So we talked about this at a previous select board meeting. I gave a presentation about the sort of the history of our recent planning efforts in East Milton and our efforts to secure some state help to finalize those plans via an overlay zoning drafting process. So I think there was a little bit of discussion at the select board at that time, but there was a decision to defer a vote until after the planning board had an opportunity to discuss. We did so at our meeting last night. We had a nice conversation. Some folks from the neighborhood participated in that, and there was the board voted 4-0 to approve the match from MPIC to provide $10,000 in match funds for this grant. So that's just a little bit of news. If there's any remaining questions about the application, I should say that we got the grant, which is why there's agenda item number 3. So this is all just very fortuitous timing, but happy to answer any other questions or provide any other clarity for the board.
Thank you. Are there any questions from board members for Mr. Zawinski?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the $10,000 grant.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Musto. There's a motion. It has been seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mr. Zulus,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Musto,
Yes.
and Mr. Doyle, yes. Thank you all very much. And thank you again, Tim. Item number 3, discussion approval contract between the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs and the Town of Milton, Massachusetts for the planning assistance grant to develop a mixed-use overlay district for East Milton. Return to you, Mr. Zawinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the reason we had to sort of very swiftly convene the board is due to some changes that I had not been aware of in the planning assistance grant program. The Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs is looking to get money out the door as quickly as possible, which means that they are really kind of pushing us to get a contract signed before June 30th. This is a standard state contract. We've signed half a dozen of them in the last couple months, but it's just something that they need to have and process in order to sort of get money out the door on their timetable. The fortunate thing is, because of these changes to the program, it's usually a reimbursable grant program, which is fine, but a little bit of a sort of administrative pain in the butt. But this time they're front loading all the funds. So we'll get all of the funds and we'll maybe use them over the course of the contract. So it's standard stuff. And it's just, I think we're asking authorization for Anne Marie to sign that so we can get that out the door today.
Okay, we'll do so. And the duration of the contract again? 2 years?
It's 2 years. So I believe the expiration of the contract is June 30th, 2024.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve, have the town, authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Is there a second to Mr. Wells' motion, please?
I'll
Ms.
second
Musto
that.
is seconded. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion by the select board members? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mr. Zulus,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Musto,
Yes.
and Mr. Doyle, yes. Next item on our agenda.
Thank you again, everybody, for your flexibility and support on this, and stay cool this weekend.
You're very welcome, Tim, and thank you for all of your work on behalf of these two motions. A lot of background work. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Musto. Thank you, Mr. Zulus. No discussion. Mr. Zulus,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes. And
Ms.
thank you.
Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Musto,
Yes.
and Mr. Doyle, yes. Thank you one and all very much for joining this event this morning. Have everybody have a great weekend. And again, appreciate you being here for 8:30